Hello everybody, have another knife on the table for us today. This is one of the new releases for 2021 from Boker Plus, and this is a really cool little auto knife. And so if you have watched any of my prior videos, you know that I love to collect these small miniature autos, and most of them happen to be California legal because the blades of the knives are under 2 inches in length, and this definitely falls into that category. So this is the Boker Plus USB OTF. And so you can imagine they're calling it the USB because the idea is at a distance when you look at this knife, it looks like a USB flash drive. So you had this hanging on your keychain and people saw it dangling there. They wouldn't really think twice. They wouldn't think, hey, that guy has a knife. And the fact is it's very small, it's very lightweight, so I think it could serve that purpose well. So I mean, if somebody gives it a second look, even looking at it, there's a little lever right here, it's still really not too out of place. You know, maybe only a knife guy who sees this would really think of what it is. And so it's made out of this black aluminum, and if you actually do carry this around, I'm sure this is going to start to wear and show through to bare metal, for good or for bad. But what we have here is an OTF knife. This comes in, I want to say, around $60. And so in terms of OTFs, at least, it's one of the least expensive on the market that you can get. And so this particular one was made for Boker Knives by Cobratec USA. I've never owned a Cobratec OTF before. I have heard the name, however. So from what I understand, they do make low-cost OTF knives. And so I'm glad that Boker partnered with them to make this, if only just to show it to you guys on video. Because this knife is very small, very concealable, and the whole idea is to be discreet. So that's the name of the game here with the Boker Plus USB OTF. And so let's take a look at the blade, actually. Sorry, I haven't opened it yet. But what we have right here is a dark stonewash finish. This is a D2 blade, and you can see the Boker Plus logo on there as well. And on the reverse, we have a small logo. I'm assuming that is the Cobratec logo, since it is a collaboration, so to speak, with them. I do like the shape of the blade. It's small, of course, but I do like how it's kind of like a clip point right here at the tip. So even though it's very small, it does have that slightly, micro-aggressive look to it. And definitely this is meant to be a utility blade. There's really no jimping, there's no grip on it whatsoever. It's all smooth aluminum all around. You'll notice that there are some small grooves on the handles. I think more for decoration than anything, because when you're gripping the knife, you don't really feel those in hand. So if you have slippery summer hands, slick with sweat, with grease, whatever, I wouldn't necessarily, count on this to count on a really heavy grip on this knife. But that being said, if it's just a keychain knife, something used to open up boxes here and there, I think it'll do just fine. So being called the USB OTF, I did want to pull out a couple of USB flash drives and make some comparisons. So I don't think I've ever shown a USB drive on my channel before, but here is a very old SanDisk flash drive. And putting those side by side, you can see, the size is actually pretty comparable. And so this particular one is a very old, lightweight model. So of course the USB drive is going to be way lighter than the knife. But in terms of pure dimension, I think it's pretty comparable. A lot of newer drives are going to be smaller though. So if you're used to smaller flash drives, there's, different form factors for flash drives all over the place. This one right here being thicker and stubbier. But again, I think it could pass off for it. So kind of cool that they kept the design very low-key, black, unobtrusive. So again, the box it came with, standard Boker Plus box, just opens up with the magnetic seal, 2 manuals, and then the cutout. So no tool or no anything else to come with this. There are some Torx bits holding this together. Personally, I wouldn't recommend taking it apart, but if you know your way around OTFs, go knock yourselves out. Taking a look at the action, however, very fun to actuate. The handle has a nice little, or the handle right there, the button I should say, nice grip. Doesn't feel like it's going to slip out of hand. So this is one I would be happy just to sit in front of the TV and annoy my wife with the sound of this knife opening and closing, opening and closing. When the knife is extended, there's some play. And OTFs have that. It's just it's part of the game. So it's not something to really be disappointed in. So what I'm really going to test right now, though, is with my right hand, OTF's easy to open. With my weaker left hand, can I as easily do it? Yeah, it's still pretty easy to do. So sometimes with my weaker hand, an OTF is not quite as easy to open. But let's look at the weight of this knife as well, because we have, it's advertised at 1.2 ounces, I believe. Or let me take a look at the specs. 1.27 advertised, 1.29 on my scale. That's within the margin of error either way. Looking at my collection of not OTFs, of auto knives, the only one that I really found comparable weight-wise, we have one right here. This is the GT Knives Mini. This one comes in at 1.17 ounces, and it's even lighter in weight, but this knife is pure junk compared to the Boker. This is without a doubt the most terrible California auto knife I own. Perhaps one of the worst ones ever produced. But that's a whole nother video. I also have the Microtech UTX 70, and this is also similar in weight. It feels similar in weight in the hand. Let's take a look at the actual weight here, and we are looking at 1.19 ounces. So it is lighter weight than the USB, but let's just take a quick look at the side-by-side there, and you can see very similar dimensions, but of course the UTX 70 is skinny, very skinny little knife. Width, however, very similar. Price comparison, of course, there's no no contest there. The Boker is less expensive, but if you're looking for a budget California legal out the front knife, I think this one makes a pretty good argument for itself. Does a lot of really cool action right there. I think that's very satisfying. So definitely think if you're in the market for one, feel free to pick it up. Downsides, so downsides to this knife. In my opinion, the really only downside to this is that they did not include a pocket clip on this knife. I would rather have there be a pocket clip that I can take off and never use, rather than not be given the option to have one in the first place. And so I totally get it. They were making this look like a USB flash drive, and USB flash drives do not have pocket clips, but I still think as a functional carryable knife, they should have made it an option for you. So really that's the only downside that I can see right here. I was going to be kind of iffy on how the action ran, but I'm actually pretty impressed with how that blade flies out of the handle. So no issues with that there. Again, my only gripe is the lack of a pocket clip. No way to carry it other than just in the pocket or on a keychain. So if that floats your boat, if that fits your profile, by all means, go pick it up. It's going to be the least expensive out the front auto you're probably going to find on the market today. But if you have any questions that I did not cover, if you want to see any other comparisons between this and my other California legal auto knives, feel free to throw a comment below. I'd be happy to show them to you. But again, have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.